Welcome to Master IEP Coach 12 IEP Questions for Teachers and Parents. I'm Catherine Whitcher, founder of Master IEP Coach, and I'm excited to take you through 12 questions that will help you dig deep into the IEP process before, during, and after your next IEP meeting. These questions have been used for thousands of IEP meetings, and now you can take this workbook, follow along, and start asking these questions to change your IEP experience. Now, I've been in the field of special education for 25 years or a little bit more professionally. But my journey in special education actually started as a special needs sibling. I can remember sitting at an IEP table for my brother, watching my mom navigate through the IEP system, and it was quite complicated. I decided to become a special education teacher, and I found myself as a teacher working in the classroom during the day and coaching parents at night. So about 25 years ago, I decided to leave the classroom and work full-time for parents. Now, when I was working for parents, schools started to see what I was doing and how I was bringing this collaborative way of building IEPs differently. And schools asked me to come help train their staff. So Master IEP Coach is a training program for parents, teachers, admins, and therapists. We are unique. There is nothing like this around. So just know that if you sit at an IEP table, you belong here. Now, you can download this guidebook and follow along and find out some more information about how we can connect after this. But let's go ahead and jump into those 12 questions. Now, these 12 questions are going to help you start having conversations that might be a little bit uncomfortable, and that's okay. So I want you to think of this list as, do I have this information or do I need to seek this information? And what is the highest priority on the list of these 12 questions? The first question that I want you to ask is, do you know the full continuum of placements? I know placement is something that we talk about at the end of the IEP meeting most of the time. However, it requires a significant amount of prep work. I know that as a teacher, I was making recommendations for children to go to the next classroom just because that's what was done. Had I ever seen the next classroom? Quite honestly, I hadn't. It was in the next building. I know so many parents who have absolutely not participated in knowing what the full continuum of placements is. And what that means is, do you know what is being considered for your student or for your child when it comes to where services are going to be provided? It is not a choice between classroom A or classroom B. It can be so much more than that. So, do you know the full continuum of placements, and have you seen it? Number two, do you know how current service minutes are being met? You know, in the IEP, we have that service minutes page and we have things written down like 30 minutes of speech every week, or we have an hour of OT every month, or we have direct reading instruction. Do you know how those are being delivered? Small group, large group? Do you know what time of day they're being delivered? How service minutes are delivered can make a huge difference. Number three, do you know what curriculum is being used? See, special education is often a melting pot of resources, and that's not okay. We have the ability to have structured curriculum that is research-based, that is meaningful, where teachers don't have to guess what comes next. And if you're a teacher and you're watching this, like, yes, I have to guess what comes next, it is important for you to start having conversations about curriculum with your team. And as a parent, start asking the team what curriculum are they using, because this is an area where you can help the teachers have a voice in making sure that they have the right tools to teach your child. The next one is, do you know what data is being taken for each goal? It's important for you to know exactly what information is being collected for each goal, because when things come around like progress reports and there's making progress or not making progress, those boxes are checked. We want to make sure that the data is there to support it and it's not opinion based. It's really important for you as teachers and parents to talk about what is being collected and is it reasonable, the amount that is being collected. So this isn't something that we necessarily need more data. Sometimes we just need better data that's being taken for each goal. All right, next one. Clear parent input statement. This is so key inside of the Master IEP Coach Mentorship. We spend so much time talking about parent input statements. See, every IEP has a section called Parent Educational Concerns or something similar to that. Most often that section is left blank, or it has one or two sentences, and it's usually a dumping ground for complaints in those couple of sentences, you know, where mom is worried about reading progress and her son leaves code on the bus and she's worried that he has no friends at recess. That is not good enough when it comes to parent input statements. We want parents to have a clear outline in all domains of education: social, emotional, academic, functional, behavioral, communication. All of these areas need to be included. Now, how do you include those? That's something that we can always cover inside of the Master IEP Coach Mentorship. But right now, I want you to just keep going and say, is there a parent input section? When you look through this, and is it very clear and focused on what concerns are and what the future should look like for this individual child? Now, it is important. I'm going to go ahead and pop this in here right now. When we're talking about an IEP, we often think about free and appropriate public education. What a lot of times gets left out is that we also need to talk about how it's a free and appropriate public education to meet a child's unique needs and prepare them for further education, employment, and independent living. Now, I didn't make that up. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not practicing law, but I am teaching you where to look. Inside the purpose of IDEA law, those exact statements are right there. That means that parents, you absolutely can focus on what are your child's unique needs and how do they need to be supported to be prepared for the future. And teachers, you can absolutely take that perspective and start writing your IEPs with confidence when you have that clarity of what is the purpose of an IEP. It's not to be like the other kids or just to close a gap, right? It's to prepare a child for further education, employment, and independent living. All right, let's keep going with the questions. Are present levels of performance crystal clear? And when I say crystal clear, it means like, are the present levels, this is what the child can do. Like, it's so clear that I could see exactly what prompts are needed, what tools are needed, what needs to happen to recreate this baseline of ability according to this goal area. So present levels of performance, are they crystal clear? All right, we're flipping to the next page. How are accommodations and modifications being implemented? You know, just because there's a list of things that can be done, it doesn't mean that they are done or that they need to be done or how often are they being done. This is really important to look at that section in the IEP that's listing out accommodations and modifications and understand, are they all relevant? How are they being used? And how is this supporting the child in having an individualized education? Next question. Do we need any further data to make great decisions? We are not limited to the data that is collected for each IEP goal. You know, we sit down at the IEP table, and this should be like a think tank brainstorm session where we're saying, okay, we all know where the child is at. Here are some ideas of what we can do. Now, we need data so we can make really great decisions. Are you missing any pieces for this unique child and their needs? Next one is, does anyone need training to make the IEP happen? It's, again, really important for you to know that there is a section in the IEP that is called supports for school personnel, and it is important that any training that is needed. So let's just say that the child is going to be moving to different classes, and including that means going to PE or to art or to music or to library. It's important for the teachers in those classrooms to know how to communicate with the child if they were using some type of adaptive communication. So are we making sure that all teachers are trained to communicate and support a child in the classroom? This doesn't mean that every teacher has to be trained to support all the IEP goals, but there are some basic things that need to be done to ensure that a child's education is accessible throughout the entire building and that they are supported to make progress. Now, this section of supports for school personnel can be used for so many different things. Again, that's something that we love to talk about inside of the Master IEP Coach Mentorship and really stretch the boundaries of what's possible to making sure all teachers and therapists have what they need to be able to support the child. All right, next question. Here we go. Do we need to further explore options for inclusion? You know, I say that inclusion is not a place, it's an experience, right? We have to experience inclusion. A child should feel included from the time they get to school, from the time that they leave school. Feeling included does not mean just going into a classroom with general education students. Feeling included means that there are a lot of opportunities throughout the entire school day. What other opportunities do we need to explore? Now, talk about exploring. The next question here is talking about exploring more technology. Again, it's important for you to understand that there's a box on the IEP that's called assistive technology. That term assistive technology was around way before there were iPads. Assistive technology can be high tech, low tech. Assistive technology, according to IDEA law, is anything from a pencil grip to Velcro to visual schedules. So it's really important, if you look for the box assistive technology on the IEP for your child or for your students, and they're using anything high tech or low tech for technology, that box is checked and it's documented. All right, I've got a bonus question for you here. How does this IEP or this IEP goal that you might be looking at, you can flip to a goal right now. How does it apply to the real world? So often, it feels like special education is in the dark ages. It just feels like it's archaic. It feels like we're working on things like, does this really matter? And that's a really important question for you to ask. So I want you to put it through this test. I want you to look at the IEP goal and I want you to think, do I use this skill in my real life? Meaning do you use this skill? Because if it's a skill that you don't use, it might not be the right place for that goal to be. Let me give you a really quick example. Do you go to the grocery store and pay with pennies? No, you don't. Your foundation of financial literacy or budgeting or using money is not based in penny, nickels, dimes, and quarters. I am not saying that a child cannot learn pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. What I'm saying is many times we see goals like this not only put into the IEP, but then carried over year after year after year. And then it holds up the child making progress in other areas because we are focusing on something that's kind of based on an old school curriculum of we have to do this first. So it's important for you to really look through and decide, does this IEP goal make sense for not just now, but the future? Or is it stuck in the past? So we went through those questions really quickly, and I want you to know exactly how we can work together going forward. Now, one of the great things that you can do, I know this can be overwhelming, is pick the top 3 questions that you're like, I have got to know this. I've got to know this answer. I've got to go see those continuum of placements. I've got to go through the IEP goals and see if they're for the real world. You know what? I really need to figure out how service minutes are being delivered. There are things that have definitely stuck out for you and your situation. Go ahead and write those down. And as you're writing those down, please consider joining me in the next Master IEP Coach Mentorship. That's where I help you become a Master IEP Coach. Now, a Master IEP Coach is somebody who becomes an idea bringer, solution finder, and team builder at the IEP table. And some of you are going to become Master IEP Coaches just to help yourself. You're going to take all the tools and you're just going to use it at your own IEP table. You're going to level up your leadership and bring these solutions and dig deeper. Like if you liked these questions, if it made you think in a different way, any one of those, you're going to love the Master IEP Coach Mentorship. I've just given you a taste of some of the topics that we cover inside of our Master IEP Coach Mentorship. Now, some of you not only want this for yourself and for your own IEP table, but you want to help others. You want to know, how do you do what I've been doing for so many years? How do you build a business helping parents through the IEP process collaboratively? How do you get parents and teachers on the same page and use your expertise and walk them through the process in a totally different way than schools and parents have seen in the past? That's what you can do as a Master IEP Coach when you choose to become a Master IEP Coach, not just to help yourself, but to help others. I'll absolutely help you get started, up and running, start that foundation of being that person that parents can call up and say, hey, can you help me? Can you help me get through my next IEP meeting? I don't know exactly which questions to ask. I don't know what answers I'm supposed to be looking for. I don't know what I'm supposed to do after I get those answers. That's what you can do as a Master IEP Coach. So I want to encourage you to go to masteriepcoach.com and you'll see the link for the upcoming mentorship. You'll absolutely see that we have results inside of our Master IEP Coach mentorship from parents and from teachers and admins and therapists. We have grandparents. We have anybody who sits at an IEP table and your heart just breaks when you see old habits being repeated and you know so much more can be done. That feeling that you have, it might just mean that you're ready to become a Master IEP Coach. Now, inside of the Master IEP Coach mentorship, like what is this? Let me just give you a super quick overview. It's 30 days of mentorship, which means I'm going to be with you every week, a couple of times a week for a full 30 days. And I'm going to walk you through all things Master IEP Coach. I've got so many tools for you that you're going to be using forever. You're going to love it. And I'm going to walk you through personally. This is not just a DIY, okay? Like you don't have to just do it all on your own. It's not a standard online course. You do get to keep all the materials forever. You do get all the updates for as long as the Master IEP Coach mentorship is around, which it'll be around a long time. You will get all of the updates and full support in getting started in understanding all of the tools and being able to confidently sit at the IEP table as a Master IEP Coach, whether it's for you or if you're helping somebody else. You'll also get surrounded by other Master IEP coaches for 30 days. You'll be inside a private community. You'll also get the opportunity to learn how to build your credibility. If you're thinking, I think I want to run a business, but I'm not really sure like who would hire me and what do I do? Where are people really going to think I'm an expert? Absolutely. I'll show you how to make that happen. And when you sign up on our start date, you will absolutely get immediate access on our start date to proven systems to walk you through the IEP process. And if you choose to start your business, to also walk you through the business process so you can feel confident as a Master IEP Coach. All right, I'm going to thank you for being here. Just thank you for making a difference. Special education can't change if we don't have parents and teachers just like you committing to be a leader in special education. I do truly hope to work with you inside of the next Master IEP Coach mentorship. And don't forget, write down your top 3 questions from the list of questions we just went through and start getting answers so you can collaborate and have meaningful conversations with your IEP team on how we can build IEPs that truly prepare a child for further education, employment, and independent living. Head on over to masteriepcoach.com. I'll see you there.